The violins played our song. But he wasn't looking at me. It was supposed to be the happiest day of my life, our wedding in Manhattan, on the rooftop of the Grand Bella Vista Hotel. Fairy lights shimmered like stars in daylight. Everything was perfect, or so I thought. I had gone upstairs to check on Elijah, my fiancé. The ceremony was just 20 minutes away. I even laughed to myself, thinking maybe he was being the classic nervous groom, fixing his tie for the 100th time. Instead, I found him outside on the terrace, arms wrapped around someone else. An Omega. Not just any Omega, his ex Lucas. The same Lucas who ghosted him 4 years ago. The one Elijah swore he had no more feelings for. And the way Elijah held him tenderly, forehead against forehead, like they were the only two people in the world. There was no rush, no awkwardness, just closeness, familiarity, and something terrifyingly intimate. They didn't see me. I watched for only 10 seconds, but those 10 seconds stretched into something permanent, something irreversible. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I turned around, walked back through the elegant hallways, past the waiting flowers, past the guests sipping champagne, and I left.
No goodbye.
No note, just silence. 3 days later, the press had picked up the story, or at least their version of it. Runaway Omega leaves Alpha Groom at the altar. Cold feet before vows? Elijah Haynes left heartbroken in high-profile Manhattan wedding. No one asked for my side. No one knew that I had watched the man I loved cradle another like he had cradled me, except with more softness, more regret, more history. That pain doesn't photograph well. I shut off my phone, changed apartments, told my assistant to cancel all interviews. I went dark. My name is Adrian Vale. I'm a writer, an Omega, and apparently now the nation's most famous heartbreak. 6 weeks later, my publisher forced me out of hiding. "You need to breathe, Adrian," Mason said, setting down a cup of coffee I didn't ask for. "Go write somewhere else. I booked you a stay in upstate New York. There's a cabin, nature, quiet." I nearly laughed. A broken heart in a wooden box? What was I supposed to doweep into pine cones? But I went, and that's where I met him. Julian. He was the caretaker of the property. An alpha, mid-30s, rough hands, soft eyes. He didn't recognize me, or if he did, he never mentioned it. The first time we spoke, he was fixing the fireplace. "You look like someone who's been running from something," he said, without looking at me. "And you look like someone who should mind his own business," I snapped. He smiled. Touché. I hated him instantly, but the next day he brought me soup. Said it was homemade. It tasted like comfort, like someone had taken the time to care without needing a reason. And I hated him a little less. A week passed. I still couldn't write, but I started walking. Julian joined me, said he knew the woods better than I did. I didn't argue. He never pried, never asked about the failed wedding or the betrayal. But he noticed everything. How I flinched at certain songs. How I stared at my hands like they betrayed me. How I avoided mirrors. "You know," he said one morning, handing me a cup of cocoa, "it's okay to be angry." I scoffed. "I'm not angry."
No. I'm humiliated.
Discarded. Replaceable. He didn't respond immediately. Then softly, "You're not. None of us are. But sometimes we get lied to so beautifully, we believe we're the problem." That night I cried, and Julian didn't say a word. He just sat on the porch next to me, knees barely touching, hands resting between us but not touching. Not yet. By the end of the second week, we had a rhythm. He made breakfast. I washed dishes. He fixed fences. I journaled beside him, pretending to write. We never called it anything, but it was something. And then, one night, I found him sitting on the cabin steps, staring at the stars. "Do you believe in second chances?" I asked him. He didn't look at me, but I felt the weight of his answer. "Only if you're giving it to yourself." I sat beside him, close, too close, and this time I didn't flinch when his fingers found mine. We kissed 2 days later. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't desperate. It was slow, earnest, the kind of kiss that asked, "Is this okay?" with every breath. And when I pulled back, I whispered, "I'm still broken." Julian just smiled. "Then we'll be broken together." But the world doesn't stay quiet for long. A gossip blog leaked a photo of me at the cabin. Someone must have recognized me in town. Suddenly, the headlines were back. Adrian Vale seen cozying up with mysterious alpha in woods. Elijah reacts to Adrian's rebound romance. Love triangle continues? I felt the walls close again. The shame. The fear of being that omega messy, dramatic, too much. I packed my bags before sunrise. Julian caught me by the car. "So that's it?" he asked. I couldn't look him in the eyes. "I don't want to ruin your life." "You're not ruining anything," he said gently. "You're the best thing to happen to it." "But I'm chaos." "You're human." Silence. Then he stepped forward, slowly, like I was a bird about to fly. He placed a hand on my cheek. "I'm not Elijah, and you're not the same man who walked away in silence. You're stronger now. You stayed. Let me be someone you stay with." That broke me, not in pain, but in release. We returned to Manhattan 3 weeks later. Together, hand in hand. There were cameras, whispers, even some insults. But I didn't flinch. At one point, we walked past Elijah. He looked different, smaller, somehow. More real. He opened his mouth like he might say something, but then stopped. I nodded once, and kept walking. 6 months later, I published my book, titled, "The Day I Left Quietly," dedicated to those who walk away to save themselves, and to those who wait at the edge of the woods, with cocoa and soft hands. Julian cried when he read it. I did too. The violins played again, this time on a smaller rooftop. No press, just friends and laughter. We wore no suits, just linen shirts and stupid grins. Julian kissed me as if nothing in the world had ever hurt me. And maybe, in that moment, nothing had. Because love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, but it stays. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.